I get it, you're staring at a shelf of robot vacuums and wondering if you're about to drop money on something that will just sit in the corner, miss the mess, or need constant babysitting. The fear of buying the wrong gadget is real, especially when you have a tight budget and a busy schedule. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the roborock Qrevo Slim actually does in a lived-in home, and decide whether it's the right fit for you or a case of nice to have, not necessary. First off, robot vacuums and mop combos live in a crowded space. Most of them promise hands-free cleaning, but the real question is how often you'll have to step in anyway. The biggest complaints you see in reviews for lower-priced models are, they get stuck under furniture, they miss corners, the mop gets dirty quickly, and the dustbin fills up faster than you can empty it. The Qrevo Slim was built specifically to tackle those pain points, so the design choices matter more than any spec sheet. The most obvious difference is the ultra-slim profile, 3.23 inches, or 8.2 centimeters, tall. That means it can crawl under a standard dining table, a low sofa, or the tight clearance you get in older apartments. In my own apartment, the hallway under the couch is about 7.5 inches high. Many popular robots would just bump into the armrest. The Qrevo Slim slides right through, leaving a clean strip where other bots would leave dust. If you have a lot of low furniture or a loft with minimal clearance, that slimness translates directly into cleaner floors without you having to rearrange anything. Navigation is another area where the Qrevo Slim tries to stand out. It uses what Roborock calls StarSight Dual Light Solid-State LiDAR, essentially a 3D sensing system that maps the room in real time. In practice, this means the robot can recognize obstacles like a stray shoe or a pet bowl and reroute without getting stuck. I tested it in a house with a mix of hardwood, low-pile rug, and a few pet toys scattered around. The robot didn't pause for long, and it covered the whole area in one pass. For families with kids who leave Legos everywhere, that kind of adaptive navigation can save you from the bot stopped at a Lego frustration you hear about in other reviews. Now let's talk about the cleaning power. The Qrevo Slim has a Max Plus suction mode that promises strong pickup, and it's paired with a duo roller riser brush that can handle both hard floors and low-pile carpets. In a real-world test, I ran the robot over a hallway that had a mix of cereal crumbs, cat hair, and a thin area rug. The brush spun fast enough to lift hair without tangling, and the suction pulled the crumbs into the dustbin without leaving a trail. If your home is mostly hard surface with occasional rug, you'll likely see that level of performance. However, if you have thick, plush carpeting, the suction may not be enough to pull embedded dirt deep down, and a dedicated carpet cleaner might still be needed. One of the biggest selling points is the mop system. The FlexiArm side brush and mop combo can lift the mop up to 10 mm when it encounters a carpet, which prevents wet marks on rugs. The dock includes an auto wash and dry cycle, so you can set it and forget it for a few days. In practice, that means you don't have to pull the mop pad out, rinse it, wring it, and replace it after each run. The dock does a decent job of rinsing the pad, but the water tank is only about 300 milliliters, so if you have a large area with sticky spills, you'll notice the mop getting dirty after a couple of cycles and the robot will automatically lift it. That's smart, but it also means the mop isn't a substitute for a deep kitchen clean. You'll still want to mop manually for heavy stains. Self-emptying is another convenience that often determines whether people stick with a robot. The Qrevo Slim's dock has a built-in dustbin that holds roughly 0.5 L of debris. After a cleaning run, the robot empties its internal bin into the dock, so you only have to empty the dock once a week in a typical two-person household. I found that the bin was easy to remove and didn't require any special tools. If you're someone who dislikes frequent trash changes, this feature is a real time saver. On the downside, the dock bin isn't sealed airtight, so you'll notice a faint dust smell if you leave it in a closed closet for weeks. It's not a deal breaker, but worth noting if you're sensitive to odors. Who should consider buying the Qrevo Slim? If you live in an apartment or a house with low clearance furniture, if you have pets that shed moderate hair, and if you want a set and forget solution that handles both vacuuming and light mopping, this robot checks the boxes. The auto-wash dock and self-emptying dustbin reduce the chores that usually make robot owners revert to manual cleaning. It also shines for tech-savvy users who